In this video, I want to take a look at Novo Nordisk. Many of you in the comment section below have asked about Novo Nordisk. What do I think about this one? And to be honest, I've never really analyzed this business model. It seems a little bit too niche for me, too complex for me. I don't have a healthcare background, drug background. So in this video, you will have my opinion about Novo Nordisk. And in case this is your first video from this channel, welcome. My name is Christophe Nour. I've been investing in the stock market for almost a decade now, and I have achieved a performance of 25% per year, investing in great companies that compound your wealth, that are profitable. And from a first look, Novo Nordisk fits this category. Maybe you watched my video a few weeks ago about Fundsmith, Terry Smith. They are maybe the biggest or the second biggest fund in the UK, and they are invested in Novo Nordisk. And they say that the performance of Novo Nordisk has been very frustrating, because for the first half of 2024 the stock went up and then completely crashed, and now we are at a market crash of 50% for Novo Nordisk. So maybe it's a great opportunity to buy right now. Yeah, I understand your point, guys. Let me do a quick description of the business for those who are not really familiar with the company, including me. With roughly 1/3 of the global branded diabetes treatment market, Novo Nordisk is the leading provider of diabetes care products in the world. You have also Eli Lilly, you have also hers, I think, that is entering this market for a cheap equivalent. Based in Denmark, the company manufactures and markets a variety of human and modern insulins, injectable diabetes treatments such as GLP-1 therapy, oral anti-diabetic agent, and obesity treatment. So definitely the company has been in the obesity, diabetes, loss weighing sector for decades. They don't diversify much, if I have understood correctly. Novo also has a biopharmaceutical segment constituting less than 10% of revenue, yeah, small part, that specializes in protein therapies and for hemophilia and other disorders. Sorry for my accent, I'm French. Okay, so let me take a look at the financials of the company. If you look at the financials, purely the financials, you are looking at a business that has accelerated recently. And maybe the growth is priced in already, so there is a comeback to reality. This is the revenue growth you see here at the left in blue, that has been doing nothing for a few years, and now since COVID, everything accelerated. For the net income here, same phenomenon. The growth has really accelerated since 2022. 2023 a lot. Same thing for the free cash flow, I presume. Yes, everything accelerated in 2021. They have been doing buybacks, like a 2% buyback program every year, pretty sustainable. And now for the past 2 years, they have slowed down their buyback program as the efficiency is going down. First question for you, why is efficiency going down? Maybe they suffer from new competition. Maybe they suffer with their margins. The return on invested capital, the ROIC was like 60% at the time, and now it's 25%. That's still good, but less than average. And about the debt, it seems like they have a debt issue. In the past, they didn't have any debt, and now they have a huge debt. Maybe they made an acquisition or something like this. Pretty interesting. You know what? Let me go to Stock Unlock, and I want to check more older data. Okay. By the way, Stock Unlock, great website. You have a discount code link in my description. If you look at the past 20 years, the revenue growth is amazing. Gross profit is amazing. Everything is going in the right direction. They don't have much of a debt problem, and they have been doing a small buyback program of 2% for the past 20 years. For these charts, right, I'm looking at the past 20 years. If you look at the past 20 years, this is revenue. The revenue has been going up at 13% per year for the past 2 decades. And if you remove this exponential growth, just you take the date in 2021, you are looking at a business that has grown their revenue by 10%. So definitely a business that is not cyclical. Definitely a business that is growing sustainably. I like it. By the way, if you're looking for a complete framework to analyze stocks and build a strong portfolio, I have a coaching program. More on that at the end of the video. And first, second question for you, why has the growth accelerated recently? I know there is a link with the GLP-1 and a lot of demand for Ozempic, but that can be interesting. All the costs accelerated accordingly. About the margins, what do we have? Margins are excellent. Obviously, you have a gross margin of 85%. SG&A margin is going down, so the business is getting more efficient. I wonder why the return on invested capital is going down, because operating margins are going up over time. The business is getting more efficient. You have operating margins at 45%, which is a lot. Frankly, that's enormous. And net margins at 35%. So really, I wonder what is the issue here. I have read some articles about their new test of drugs that were so-so, and competition is heating up. Competition is having better results than them, but I don't see the reason why the stock is down 50%. This is a business that generates some cash flows. And what about the balance sheet? Do they have any problem with their balance sheet? They have some cash. Okay. Inventory over there. They seems like the demand for their products accelerated. The capex accelerated enormously. The capex is growing a lot. The property, plant, equipment increased a lot. Seems like they made a huge acquisition. Let me check. Novo, Nordisk, acquisition. Is it this one? This one? Let me ask FinChat. I asked FinChat, why is the stock down? They said disappointing drug trial result. Okay, but that's not enough to put the stock down 50%. Competitive pressure, that I can agree. Market condition, no. Analyst downgrades, no. What is the most recent acquisition from Novo Nordisk? Yeah, this is not an in-depth analysis. I agree with you guys. This is just a first look on the business. See if we want to go a little bit deeper. And if I like the idea, I think I can go deeper on this one. Seems like this is a difficult industry, but it is so niche and so concentrated in a small part of the market that it is fine. Okay, seems like they made an acquisition. Deal value $2 billion. Why is the debt going up? Again, another discount code link in my description to use FinChat, a great website. Why is the debt going up? This is an industry that may make a lot of acquisition. Catalent. Okay. Yeah, this is the cause of their acquisition. Because of the high debt is the acquisition. Okay. So they have more debt because they made a huge acquisition. Maybe the market is dropping because people don't believe in this acquisition. They have negative working capital, so they are piling up more inventory, more capex. I mean, if you look at the capex of the company, look at this chart. For the past 20 years, the capex has not really increased. The investments in capex, new facilities, manufacturing stuff, has not really moved. So of course they generate a lot of free cash flow. But in recent years, everything accelerated. In recent years, the capex improved drastically. And all this capex is a cost. And will be a drag on free cash flow. If you look at the free cash flow, what can I check? Trailing 12 months, this is your free cash flow. Yeah, still the free cash flow is growing. Over the past 20 years, the free cash flow has grown by 17% annually. For the past 20 years. I mean, this is good. I would like to check what is the capex requirement for this kind of business. How is management reacting to the new competition? But it is pretty good. And what about the valuation for this one? Price earnings ratio. If you look at the PE ratio of the business over the past 20 years, on average, it has been... Yeah, sorry, I'm just checking my apartment. There was a earthquake today in Bangkok. I'm in Bangkok, so just checking if we are fine. I heard some noise. PE ratio of 20 for this business on average. So people saying it's a screaming buy. I mean, we are still at an elevated PE ratio. Am I looking at the right thing? Seems like not. Seems like Guru Focus is telling me we have a PE ratio of 20. Let me check. Let me check really quick. If I go to the free form of this company, let me check. That's your price to free cash flow. From a price to free cash flow standpoint, this company is not cheap. It's just that we had a run up and the price to free cash flow was sky high. And now we are back to a price to free cash flow of 30. The average is around like 25. So from a free cash flow standpoint, we are not cheap, just purely on the numbers. And on the PE ratio basis, back to average. I don't see the screaming buy, to be honest. What is the average for the past 20 years for the PE ratio? Average is, let's say, 21. And now we are, latest is 21. So we are back to an average valuation. Maybe it's a buy, but not a screaming buy. Maybe it's a good opportunity because we are back to fair value for this business that can compound. They have some issues, yes, but this is a business that is a leader in their small niche. But we are not in an extreme buy territory, extreme cheapness. Yeah, I mean, I just look at the numbers, right? Maybe some of you watching this video know more about this company, but from my point of view, it's just that investors have been enjoying the higher valuation for a while. But if you go back 5 years from now, in 2020, or even before 2019, the PE ratio was 16 at the time. And yes, you didn't have this hype about the GLP-1, this new Ozempic stuff, new drug testing, but it's possible that this business can continue to drop to a valuation at roughly 16, PE ratio of 16, PE ratio of 20. This is not a screaming buy from my point of view. So yeah, people are used to having a PE ratio above 30. I mean, now let me play the devil's advocate to myself. If you compare this PE ratio of 21 to the PE ratio of the S&P 500, now the PE ratio for the S&P 500 is 28, 29. So compared to the S&P 500, Novo Nordisk is cheap because it is still a business with a lower PE ratio. So you have a cheaper business and a better business than average because of high margins, free cash flow going up by 16, 17%, revenue is going up, earnings are going up. So if you look at it this way, this is cheaper than the market and better quality than the average company in the S&P 500. So just purely like this, you can say, yeah, maybe it's a buy. This is not financial advice. I think I will continue the analysis. Seems like this is a good deal. Frankly, what I want to check is the competition heating up. What is happening? You have Eli Lilly. You have maybe a couple of other names. What is happening in this market? Do you understand this market? Pretty interesting. Because maybe I will do the analysis. Maybe I will not understand this market. The same thing for you. Maybe it's too complex. Maybe it's all about patent. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce this word. Maybe the patent for Ozempic ends in 2030, 2031, 2032. And if the patent for a drug is down, like it ends, maybe it will cause a shock to revenue for some reason. What are the superstar drug from Novo Nordisk? This is a great point. Other things, what has the management said when it comes to their guidance and how they plan to react against Eli Lilly or maybe hers? What is their guidance? Frankly, I think they know that the stock price is down 50%. They know that investors are pissed off. They know that the drug trials are not as good as expected. What are they doing? Did they enter panic mode, efficiency mode? So that's a good reason. And now let's play around with some numbers, right? We said in the past that the free cash flow was going up like 16% per year, by 17% per year. Let's say the free cash flow grows 15% per year. We said that they had a buyback program of 2% per year. Let's be conservative. Let's put a 1% buyback program every year. About the dividend growth, let me put 0. And about the PE ratio, price to free cash flow. What is the price to free cash flow of this business? If we... let me go back to the free form. Because we said the average PE ratio was 20, 21. But what was the average price to free cash flow of this business? Roughly 25? By the way, if you enjoy these first views, this kind of videos, you can leave a like or subscribe or anything you want, frankly. Okay, for the past 20 years, the average price to free cash flow of this business has been 23, including the run-up recently. If you remove this euphoric period, we are at an average of 21. You know what? Let's be conservative. Let's be 23. Conservative, meaning we take into account everything. And let's say they deserve a price to free cash flow of 23. If these are your assumptions, you expect the free cash flows to grow by 15% for the next 5 years. You expect the management to implement a 1% buyback program. And they deserve a price to free cash flow of 23. If these are your assumptions with a 10% discount rate, then the stock is fairly valued. I see no screaming buy. Like you see here, fair value 5% more. And if you buy now, you can expect a CAGR, a compound annual growth rate of 11%. I see no screaming buy here, frankly. Yeah. And if you think for some reason they become the kings of their industry and free cash flow grows 20%, and they continue the buybacks of -2%, and they deserve a price to free cash flow of 25%, if you put these assumptions, then maybe it's cheap. Yep. Yeah, I see what bulls are saying for this company. If this is a turnaround play, if the management is smart, if they implement the right things, if they can fight against competitors and come back to growth mode with good drug trials, maybe it's a buy right now. But I wouldn't buy it at these prices. I want to do more research on this one, but maybe it's cheap. I understand what bulls see in this category. You have the efficiency. You have the ROIC of the company that has dropped, but it is fairly good. Look at this. This is the return on invested capital of this company. Before, 20 years ago, it was roughly 20, and then it went up to 100% or more. Maybe competition came here, and since then, the efficiency dropped. And now, as they are doing more acquisition, I expected this to continue to drop. But the margin, EBIT margin, this is a very profitable business. Another question I want to check, another thing I want to check is the help from the government. How is this industry regulated? Maybe this is extremely expensive to have this kind of drugs. Maybe this is extremely expensive and you will have some regulation. I mean, I think most of their revenue comes from the US, right? And maybe there is a change in regulation. Maybe not. I don't know. Frankly, I don't know. So yeah, you're up to you now. Now do the work. This was my view. You have a couple of points to monitor. And if you are an expert about Novo Nordisk, I welcome your views. Frankly, very happy to read your comments, guys. You have great comments. You are very kind in the comment section below, so I appreciate it. YouTube is not my full-time job, so I like reading your stuff, reading what you have to say. So keep saying hi, hello, ask your question, share your opinion. This is a good vibe comment section. So yeah. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I think I will continue the research, see what I can find about competition and management guidance for this year and future years. So I hope you liked the video. Thank you and goodbye. If you like this content, I have an investing coaching program. In this program, you will learn a complete investing process. You will learn how to find good stock ideas, how to properly value stocks, when to buy, when to sell, so that you can build a strong portfolio. Additionally, you will have access to my personalized guidance for long-term results. We will do weekly calls where we analyze stocks together, and you will have access to my private number available 24/7 for full support. If you are blocked, if you have any questions, I'm here to help. Click the first link in the description to get more information. You will get a video that explains how everything works completely for free. No need to sign up, no need for your email address. Just click the first link in the description and I'll see you on the other side.